Hey, this is Chad, and I'm going to show you how to play the guitar parts for the song Never Too Late by the band 3 Days Grace. Here's a little sample of what we're going to be learning. Alright, so this song is in standard tuning except for the thick string. That's tuned down to D, the next string down is A, the next string down is D, the next string down is G, the next string down is B, and the next string down is E. But just remember your thick string is tuned down to D, so it's not quite standard tuning, but everything else is. Alright, we're going to start off the lesson. Usually I talk about it first and then I kind of play along with the tab, but I think I'm going to try that backwards this time because I think people like to skip over all my... There's more people that are advanced and they want to skip over all the babbling and they just kind of want to see me play it along with the tab. So I'm going to try that first and then I'll kind of break it down later, so if you don't need that, you don't have to go through all that. So let's try that. I'm just gonna play it slow with no explanation with the tablature first, and then I'll break it all down later. But I will tell you I'm gonna start on the 8th fret here. And I'm gonna put my pinky on the 10th fret of the 3rd string, and that's kind of where the riff starts. I'll show my picking here in the shot too, and I'll try to keep all my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing, but we'll throw the tab in there now and I'll just kind of play it slow without babbling any further. Here we go. One more time, a little faster. So now for the chorus, it's basically open, 8th fret, 7th fret, and 10th fret. So let's pull up the tab. Thank you. And I'm going to try to keep my other fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go, nice and slow. You notice it changes a little on the 4th one, but we'll break that down later. And now for the bridge, it starts on the 8th fret, and like I said, everything we're doing here is using the under part of your pointer finger. So let me back up a little so you can see all the, here we go. So I'm going to play that, we'll add the tab here, and then we'll break all this down in a little bit. Here we go. Now let's see. It's basically the 8th fret, the 3rd fret, and the 10th fret for the bridge. But the strumming is a little different, as you can see. So beginning here. Alright, for all you advanced guitarists out there, that was probably enough to just kind of watch it slow with some tablature. But for people who need a little more of a breakdown, I'll spend the rest of the video breaking it down even more. And now the one thing I would say before you even start learning this song is whenever you're in drop D, you need to be able to take your pointer finger, push down on any one of these frets hard enough that you can pick the top 2 strings and get a note, and then slide down a fret and get a note, because every song drop down in D uses this method. And then when you get good at that, you should be able to pick the top 3 strings with just the under part of your pointer finger. Start at any fret you want and see if you can get 3 notes to sound. Slide down. You should be able to pick them. You should be able to strum them. And if you hear this, you're not pushing down hard enough. So just spend a whole day just making sure. If you can do that, then you can play any song in drop D. That's the secret that no one wants you to know, but I'm letting the cat out of the bag right here. So before you learn any notes or frets, just make sure you can do that, and then any song in drop D would be a lot easier for you. And this opening riff starts on the 8th fret from the top, so on the thick string. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what you want to do is put a bar with your pointer finger, and you have 2 strings underneath your pointer finger. So you should hear this. You should pluck the top string, hear a note, pluck the next string down and hear the 8th fret also. So you gotta make sure you're pushing down hard with the bottom of your finger to get both strings to hit a note. Now your pinky's gonna come down to the 10th fret and stay there for pretty much the whole riff. So you want to come down 3 strings from the top, 1, 2, 3 on the 10th fret. And that's the position you want to start in. And you want to pick from the top and then top down and then start picking your way back up. So basically it starts on the thick string. Now start picking your way back up. But when you get to the top thick string, it's open. So you take the pressure off the strings when you get back to the top. So you walk down with your fingers down, like I showed you. Then start walking your way back up. And then when you get to the top, you gotta lift your pointer finger up. So 8, 8, 10, 8, open. Those are the frets you're on. Starting at the thick string, 8. Next string down is 8. Next string down is 10. Come back up to 8. And when you get to the thick string again, it should be open. Now the second part of the riff, you keep your pinky there in the 10th fret. And the second string down from the top is open. And on the 3rd string down from the top, you go 10, 8, 7. And after you pluck the 7, you kind of, with your finger, pull down so that open rings out. 10, 8, 7, pull off. See, when you pluck the 7, you pull your finger down a little bit and it gives you a pull off. If you don't do that, it doesn't sound as good. It's like, it still works, but I just think it's, you can hear it on the record that he does a little pull off there at the end. So it's open, 10, 8, 7. So now we'll play the whole thing slow with some tablature underneath. Instead of me talking about it, you can just kind of watch, and I'll try to keep my fingers out of the way, and so you can see where I'm picking, and you can watch my fingers and play along. And here we go, slow with some tablature. When he ends the riff, he's not barring 8, he goes down and bars 7 with his pointer finger, but he still keeps that pinky on the 10th fret on the 3rd string down. So this is how the riff ends. And he picks back up again, but instead of hitting an open note on a thick string, he slides down to the 10th fret and bars that. So it sounds like this. So it goes on the thick string, 7 fret, next string down, 7th fret, next string down is the 10th fret, then he picks back up to the 7th fret and slides down to the 10th fret and bars that. 10th fret, ends on the 10th fret. So let's play that opening riff slow one more time with some tablature, and I won't talk your ear off. We'll just kind of play it slow together, and you can watch the picking and watch my hand pattern over here and see how it changes. Bar the 7th fret, and then slid down to the 10th fret to end it. Seventh fret, pinky still on the 10th fret on the 3rd string down. Pick up and slide down to 10. You can either slide down to 10 or just, I think it sounds good either way. Now we've already learned the hard part of the song. The chorus is really easy. You're only using the top 2 thick strings, but you're going to be strumming them together. And the thing I would recommend practicing before you start learning the chorus is just pushing down with your pointer finger to get both strings as a note. Then slide down. And that's the trick to drop D. If you can do that, you can play a million songs and drop D. So now I'm going to show you the chorus, and it just uses that same basic pattern. It starts on just open strings, then the 8th fret, slide down to the 7th fret, then down to the 10th fret. So here's how the chorus goes. 8, 7, 10. Now we'll do it with some tablature so you can just kind of follow along, and I'll try to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see the frets and you can see the strumming pattern as well. Open, 8, 7, the chorus a little different. Instead of starting it with open, he starts it with 8, and the strumming pattern is a little different too. He goes, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's open, and then it ends the same. 7, 10. So here's the whole chorus again. Open, 8, 7, 10. Open, 8, 7, 10. And then on the final one, it's 8, open, 7, 10. Alright, so now we just gotta learn the bridge, and you got this song down. Alright, so now on the bridge, it does that same, you're going to do that same finger pattern. Now the bridge only uses the top 2 strings as well, and the strumming's a little different, and you start on the 8th fret. It goes, so you rock that 8th fret a couple times with a, and the third one's like not quite as long. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Then you go to the 3rd fret, then the 10th fret. So you're on the 8th fret rocking it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Down to the 3rd fret, 1, 2. Down to the 10th fret. So we'll play it slow with the tablature now. So you're on the 8th fret. 3, 10. And then the bridge ends with a, on the 8th. So that's how the bridge ends the 4th time through. It builds up on the 8, 7, and then slide down to 10 to end it. Then you just go back to the beginning part we learned. I get my fingers out of the way there. Down to the 7th fret. Alright, now to end the video, we'll play along with the tablature at about half speed. Here we go. Down here at the 8th and 10th fret again. Try to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed learning the guitar parts for Never Too Late. It's a little more harder than the last guitar lesson we did, and I'll try to do another one that's even a little harder for the more advanced guitarists. But I just want to say thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.